Peace and love I send to you, listeners, and welcome back to Man of Steel. Today, we are going to dive in deep into our second episode under the personal growth section. And the topics of discussion today will be realization of consciousness and mind. So, the reason why we have brought forth these topics to discuss today is that most of the decisions that we make in our day-to-day lives need to be mediated by the mind and by us being aware of having a conscious. And that's why we're saying that we are going to focus on the realization of consciousness and mind in helping us become great and good men of steel. So when we try to define what realization is an instance of taking real and concrete observations of reality. That's realization. And when we talk of consciousness, consciousness is the state of being aware of one's state of living and being alive. Moving further, when we talk of what is the mind is that which is responsible of one's thoughts, feelings, and notable brain functions. All this just brings us to the point of what we allow ourselves to coordinate in our own heads and call those right and good decisions that we make of reality. And we have to make sure that we are very much aware of them. When we are in a position of making a decision and we would want to elevate the level of being and the level of existence in the environment that we're in, we would have to realize that we are living beings, and what we get to put into the environment or situation that we're in will cause an impact. We have to be conscious. And why we have to be conscious is because we know that we are alive. And it's only us knowing that since we are alive now, we can only make an impact when we are alive now. Because when we are gone and we transcend to another higher dimension, our impact will be little to none. This is the time that we have. As I was saying, when we have chances, and most of the times we do find ourselves in those positions of making decisions that will affect the outcome or the structure of the environment and the surrounding that we're in, we have to be conscious beings. We have to live in the moment, but don't let the moment take you away, but live in the moment knowing that you are a conscious being, you're a conscious person of steel who is able to make good and rational decisions. The reason why we are also bringing up the realization of the consciousness, just itself being realized, is that we can be able to know, and we are able to know that we are making a good decision or we are not making a good decision. So that is why we have to be aware of all the outcomes that we can produce and give into society, community, and the environment that we're in. That can only be made, good can only be made, that we'd want to see in the environment if we focus on the right side of our minds, on the right sides of our heads, where we think of positive things, of positive and right ideas and actions. Those will help in the promotion of us existing and promoting and being good men of steel and seeing the good that we'd want to see in this world that we're in. On this journey of being a man of steel and men of steel, people of steel, we need to understand that our inner self will reflect mostly what we can put out in the society that we're in for now. Take that as a pin. Whatever that we produce in society, whatever that we give into the surrounding that we're in, not only the society, the community that we're in, where we're mostly found, the things that we get to see happen are a causative effect of each and every action that we undertake. Now moving on to the mind, which is there to help in the coordination of the body. Now we are in charge of that. So we have to be conscious beings who are aware that we do have our minds. We do have this mind in us that will help us to coordinate our body actions. And we have to take care of it. because we have to take care of it. We really have to take care of it. If we don't take care of it, we would find that we are having issues in one way or the other with coordination. We need to have mental health. Yes, we really do need to have that. And the reason why it is a very important part of our being, this mind of ours, there's a fun fact which goes as follows. It has a mass of only 2% of the entire body weight. It is able to consume 20% of the ingested energy that we do use. That shows me, shows you, and shows all developing men of steel that we need to take care of it. Let us not neglect it. It is a very small organ in being of it being in a mass type of a way. When we measure its mass, it's not as relevant because it's only 2% and the other 98% are other body organs. But out of the 100% energy that we do intake, it gets to consume 20%, from 2% to 20%. That is something that is really worth noting and really worth appreciating and worth taking care of. Because if we ingest less energy, meaning we're giving it less power, no wonder why we have to take care of it in order for it to function in a rightful way that we would want it to help us in making good decisions and right decisions in the places that we occur and the places that we're in. At this point, we are going to dive into a meditation, and in this meditation will help us to understand and know that the mind and conscious itself can be attained, can be brought to life. If you think and feel that I think I've lost track with my consciousness, I don't think I can feel it. We can feel the consciousness that we do have in ourselves. We can feel that conscious, and how we can feel that is through breathing. So I'd invite you to breathe with me. If you are in a place where you can breathe with me and close your eyes and just give a meditation, I would really appreciate that. So, as we inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. That silence that we feel in us, that which tells you to feel the moment, to feel your toes, to feel the air that is filling up in your lungs, that is you being conscious. That is you existing at that place you're in. The environment you're in, you're giving it an aura. You inviting yourself to relax and to meditate. You're giving time for your brain. You're focusing on it. You're telling it that I acknowledge you. So this should be done most of the times as we exist as men of steel, to give the mind time, because everything that we do, everything that we accomplish, everything that we have accomplished and done from our times of being infants up to now, have all been products of our minds. And if we do not nurture and take care of our minds, we are losing track of them. So let us heed and keep strong to our minds and acknowledge and make sure that we keep breathing. Each and every breath that we take, we know that we are alive, and we shall continue living in a three-dimensional world where we'd want to see peace reign. Thank you. Having acknowledged that we are beings who breathe, and through breathing, when we just channel the right amount of air in our lungs and we find a place where we can meditate, we are able to give the mind strength to come to life. It becomes to be aware of all the thoughts that we felt, all of the things that really are going through ourselves and around us. Those are things that we really need to be mostly aware of and help our minds to cling to make good and right decisions as mostly as we would want to make as possible. Not even decisions, even actions, because our brain is able to mediate the functions of our bodies. And without having a strong brain, you wouldn't have the capability and the capacity to operate as strong and as physique as we operate. So it is a very, very important and must note thing why we need to have the mind taken care of. We really need to take care of it. Having meditated and having talked about that, we really need to talk of how we can nourish our minds. Because when you nourish your mind, you nourish your conscious, you are in peace and you'll be able to make decisions and actions that will help and see to it that we shall exist in a world where we work together towards seeing a common good occurring in the places that we are existing in. And that's really appreciable as men of steel. In relation to life's experiences that we do feel, we have to know that we are physical beings, as I said earlier, and from within, so without, as was mentioned earlier as well. For us to bring to light what we want to see into the world, we have to start with our inner selves. Acknowledge that you are a living being. Acknowledge that you can make mistakes. Acknowledge that you can change. Acknowledge that you can change your inner self and help your inner self to grow, so that the seeds that your inner self cultivates can grow and can be seen by the external and outer world that exists. That is what is really important, and that is what is really relevant when we talk of the mind and the realization of conscious. Let me say that one more time. We have to realize that we are living beings, and that is acknowledging our consciousness. And we have to make sure that our minds, our brains are kept safe by us making sure that we are taking in foods and thoughts and information that will help us work towards seeing a good in the places that we're in. The result of all this being followed will lead to us knowing and having a future that we know we can attain and we can grasp. That is all we need. A future that we can see with a strong vision, and that can only be seen when we realize our conscious and in sync it with our minds. Because if we do have a sharp image of what we'd want the world to be, if we have a sharp vision, nothing can stop us, and that can only be promoted out of us having a conscious that is clean and that is forgiving to others and ourselves, and having a healthy mind that we take care of through the things that we take care of, minds that we can take care of based off the foods that we eat and the information we ingest, and that will help us in becoming great men of steel. Thank you very much. I do really appreciate for being with me through this episode of diving deep into the acknowledging of consciousness, the realization of consciousness, and the acknowledgement of the mind, in seeing to it that everything that we do starts with the mind and starts with our conscious. Thank you very much for tuning in, and you're always appreciated, and thank you very much.